All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is. We are live in full effect right here with Detroit's finest up and coming. You already know the king of the 313. We got Dykkon-Isaran right here, right now. How you doing How you doing this evening?
What's up, bro? I'm good. I'm glad to be here, man. Shout out to all your audience in City 97.7 in Canada. You hear me?
And I gotta say, man, our mutual friend there, man, you know what I mean? He put together a dope mix for us this evening, man. So most definitely,
I'm
man,
ex-
that was absolute fire.
yeah, I'm excited, man. Like, that's my guy. That's my go-to. You hear me?
And I gotta say, man, the listeners were loving it too, man. I noticed he put a little bit of Outlaws in the mix as well, so he put a little bit of West Coast hip hop in that mix as well.
Well, he basically just tried to give you guys a showcase of, all the music that we've been involved together. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to the Outlaws, Young Noble, Edie, and Stormy, all of them that's still doing their thing. Rest in peace to my guy Fatal. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, it was just people that we worked with in the past mostly. You feel me?
And most definitely, also shout out to DJ Len Swan for actually getting us connected.
Oh yeah, definitely shout out to Quan for that, man. That was a big ups because I need you in my life right about now. You hear me?
And I gotta ask you, man, like taking you back to the beginning of your career, bro. I gotta ask you, man, like what actually inspired the career of you, man? Like how did you actually get in the music industry?
Uh, just like this street shit, man. I was born in it. Beautiful, real talk. Just happened to be close proximity to a lot of major players, and one of those major players happened to be Carl Butch Small, and he like my uncle, so he's known me since before I could talk. And went to school with DJ Los, the original DJ Los. We went to the same elementary school. You know what I mean? So, and then I went to middle school and high school with Esham and Champtown, some of the biggest pioneers in Detroit hip hop. You know what I mean? So I was always near it, but the inspiration to actually do music just hit me out of the blue one day. I had a breakdancing contest that I lost. And so I challenged the guy to a rap contest because it was like it was in middle school, and a lot of little females was around, and I took an L, man, and that hit me hard, so I had to redeem myself. So I challenged him to a rap battle the very next day, and that was actually the very first time I ever wrote a rap, ever even thought about rap, was because I got embarrassed by some females. So that's what really sparked my career.
And also, man, I also read that so your first international exposure actually came from doing backup vocals for World One Records. I was wondering, how did yourself and World One Records get connected? And of course, what was it like working with them, just doing backup vocals?
Well, again, like I say, it was family. Like Carl Butch Small again was a third party owner to World One Records, right? So it was Butch, Mr. Maxey, and Gene David. And so, like I say, DJ Los is Butch's son. So we went to elementary school, and we was really, really cool, like close tight. So my DJ at the time, before I even knew that my own family had an independent label in Detroit, was DJ Maestro. And DJ Maestro wound up getting a deal with World One Records, and he introduced me to the business aspect as far as bringing me in the phone, right? And then I'm looking, I'm like, oh my God, that's Uncle Butch. Oh, that's Cousin Low. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like really already laid out in the cards for me to be there. You know what I'm saying? So once everybody was like, oh, that's D-Mac, you feel me? So I was instantly brought into the fold and put into the roster, and it really went from there. And so they were working on their album, Chaos and Maestro, and EVB and Los was like finishing up their album. And so it's like once everybody knew I wanted to do music because they were already doing it, they just pulled me on in and fitted me in like right in the program. So I couldn't get no verses or nothing like that because everything projects was already like almost completed. So they was like, yeah, jump on these backup vocals on Chaos and Maestro album. All right, we're gonna help you. We're gonna put you in the video, EZB and DJ Lowe's video. And so they was just incorporating me in wherever I could fit in at the time, till an opportunity for me to really showcase my skills came along, which was in 91 when we was working on the Dice album, and I was able to really bring all my talents to the forefront with that.
And I have to ask you as well, man, did you actually think, but back in the day, of course, you were doing, like, backup vocals, did you ever think you'd actually become a mainstream hip-hop artist, like, back then, back in the early 90s?
You know what? To be honest with you, man, everybody was saying hip-hop was going to die. Like, they ain't had no love for hip-hop like that. So we was doing hip-hop when hip-hop wasn't cool. So long story short, I didn't have no idea, you know what I mean, that how far I could take it. I just knew I think I can rap, and some of my people that I consider family is actually in the industry, like, for real. So what the hell? It's keeping me out of trouble, you know what I mean? It was either the streets or hip-hop. So I really tried to veer towards the hip-hop thing, because the street thing, like, I was kind of born into that too, with crime all around my family, you know what I mean? So it was just like something to do that I knew would have more longevity than going a route of pursuing a street life career, you know what I'm talking about?
And also, back in the year of 1997, you actually released the cassette single "Jim and I," actually on your own Ballin' Chain Records. I have to ask you, man, tell us a story about that cassette, and of course, the story behind your record label, man, because it's Deacon's record label, ladies and gentlemen. So you already know it's absolute fire, man. You know he was producing heat.
Wow, that's a good one right there. Jim and I was a group that I came up with my partner, Jermaine Hill. May he rest in peace, man. COVID took his life last year. I'm still tore up behind that, but at the time he was calling himself that nigga Fat. And I got with him through a mutual friend of ours, which was DJ OC. He was the DJ for the Goon Squad, and you know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what the Goon Squad is. That's Trick and them, you know what I'm talking about. So he put us in the vicinity of each other. Actually, I met Jermaine on a job. And once he found out that I was D. Mac Mohini, which that's the name that I was going under when I was with World One, and everybody knew about the Dice album, because the Dice album was a Detroit classic, and my verse on that got me a certain amount of celebrity in the local area, and I understood from the business end of it that I was going to have to really push myself and put myself out there. So at that point in the game, I took out a few loans that I ain't never paid back, and we put that project together, and we made a maxi single out of that. And so, coming from the World One era, it gave me all the knowledge and I would guess confidence to just do it on my own and keep doing it, because I kind of started out on my own. So that's how that went down. And like I say, my man, he was going by the name of Timeless before he passed. And we got some unreleased heat. I'm coming with that, because that's a lifelong partner, friend of mine. We put that single together, and we just pressed them up from disc makers and got out here on these streets and sold out of them boys. You feel me?
And I have to ask as well, man, is Ball and Chain Records still around today? Like, and if so, who's actually currently signed under you right now?
Well, it's definitely still around, but it's called Showboy Fresh Music Group now. I went through a few different iterations of the names and everything, and I don't really sign artists like as an artist deal. What we do is we partner up and we collab. Something like what me and Fat did. Basically, I like to work with artists that understand that it takes money to do this. So I don't have all the money. So if you got a couple of dollars and you can put in on some marketing or some studio time, then I'm willing to work with you. And so that's how I do that, because I like to get people heard, but realistically, man, we got to pay for this thing. So yeah, it's definitely still around with Showboy Fresh Music Group, and I'm working with artists such as a local cat by the name of LIL. He's on my latest album that I dropped like in 17, and Also, I'm working with like a lot of local cats as far as new up and coming producers, and like I'm still working with all the rappers that I used to work with back in the day. So shout out to my guy XO, you know what I'm saying, from the East Side Records, the West Side Records. Shout out to Rump, you know what I'm talking about. So we gonna put something together with me and XO gonna put something together, and just working with new cats like my ex-label mate B-Boy Hoop. I got him working on some tracks. He's on Team Hope with the world-renowned producer Helliver. You know what I'm talking about in the D. So he worked with Helliver and Vito on their team. And it's like all intertwined and connected. So it's like I'm trying to go to the new millennium with it. We ain't just signing artists. We creating entrepreneurs. So if you know that you got some talent and some skills, and you don't mind going in your pocket, we're going to work together.
And also, man, the one thing I have to ask, dude, is because I've been wondering this since we first actually got connected. How did yourself and DJ Len Swan actually get connected? Because I know you guys did a track on the Motor City Boys album back in 2017, and you guys did some phenomenal work together, man. So what's the story behind that business relationship?
Again, it goes back to World One Records, baby. That's where they all started out. World One Records created a division called Raw Dog Records, and all the label mates and the roster at that time, we formed a group called the Raw Dog Clan. So Dice was a part of the Raw Dog Clan, and Maestro was already the DJ and main producer for the company, and he discovered the 12 Tech Mob, let's just say that. And as far as bringing them into our fold, we was hearing about these young cats, these young DJs, and they went to the same private school that I believe Maestro went to. And I might get a little bit botchy with it, but long story short, Maestro was one of the top DJs in our city at the time, in that era. So everybody kind of gravitated towards him. So we was always doing what we call cabarets on the weekend. And so I was running with the DJ crews because I'm an MC, right? So long story short, Swan was one of those up-and-coming fresh DJs that Maestro felt like he had great potential. He kind of felt like it was competition, and it drawed us more to them because them boys was hot. DJ Daddy Rick, DJ Shotgun, DJ Dez, you know what I'm saying? And so Swan was brought in to do some particular cuts for the 40 Made Me Do It album called Smoketown USA. It was a track called Smoketown USA. And when Swan came in at like 15 years old and cut that shit down and was making Maestro feel threatened for his crown, you know, you could see the hunger and the drive in them guys. And I met Swan in the studio for the first time at Sound Suite on Puritan in the D when he came in to cut them cuts for Dice. And I gravitate towards the youth, even though I'm not that much older, but I always wanted to help out young cats in the game because I kind of got a raw deal when it came to the business end. So I didn't want people to go through that. So I made sure I connected with the young bloods and made sure that we went into a positive direction. But I didn't understand that Swan was also a fan of me, and he had a producer's ear. So Swan is like the first cat that really made a beat that I could vibe to. And so a lifelong business relationship as well as brotherhood relationship was formed immediately on the spot at that time, bro.
And I have to ask you as well, man, did you ever have the opportunity to go to the studio with Swan when he did his work with Eminem and D12? Because for the individuals that are listening that don't know, DJ Len Swan is actually the former DJ for Eminem and D12.
Well, I never had the opportunity to sit in on those sessions, but I definitely was well aware of his work ethic, and you know, his loyalties was to the World One Raw Dog Clan first and foremost. So we know everything what Swan's doing. So if Swan got to do something for somebody, he letting us know, oh, I'm gonna be over here at the studio with the Bass Brothers, or I'm gonna be over here with Terry Clark, or I'm gonna be over here with I think it was I can't remember the name of the band, the rock group that they had. So, Swan was always letting us know anything that he was involved in. So we definitely knew what was going on. But that's an invite only type situation. You ain't got a whole bunch of hangers on in the studio when you're doing, because it's business for real for us. So unless you needed to be there, you wasn't there. You know what I mean? But you definitely knew what was going on with it.
And also as well, man, I also read that you actually have some alter egos that you actually go by, man. And the one that really actually caught my eye was actually Fresh Nell, man. I have to ask you, what's the story behind that alter ego, man? And how did you get, Fresh Nell?
Well, it's really like my middle name, right? Like my middle name is Cornell. Okay, so CBS Nell, which stands for Showboy Fresh Nell, right? So it's just a little differentiation between the difference between Dykkon-Isaran and CBS Nell is Dykkon-Isaran is more of a philosophical type rapper, right? So you never know what type of vibe you're gonna get from Dykkon-Isaran, but CBS Nell is specifically geared toward the street life. Like anything that I drop under CBS Nell, it's gonna be straight coke talk. You know what I'm saying? Straight street drop. I'm not trying to be philosophical or nothing like that on there. I'm just straight giving it to you from the street. You know what I'm talking about? Where we make Motor City booming music. That's what we used to call dealing drugs back in the day. If you was booming or you was rolling, then you was in the street like hustling and everything. So CBS Nell is the personification of that angst. Because sometimes I still have PTSD dreaming about selling crack and shit like that. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know if anybody else go through that, but I definitely go through that PTSD stage and from the trauma in my life that I caused myself, by choosing to do those things. But CBF Nell, that's Mr. Showboy Fresh Nell, that's just straight coca culture, you understand me?
And also, man, in 2017, you actually dropped a phenomenal album for Lord a Gift. From the Gods. I have to ask you, what's the story behind that phenomenal record, man? And of course, do you have any copies available, like on CD, that our listeners can actually hit you up and get?
Folklore Gift from the Gods was released in 2017 originally, but I had some discrepancies with some distributors, so I had to re-release it again in 2019 with a different distributor. But I do have physical copies, but I'm still working on the back album artwork, and I don't have the finished product, but they are definitely going to be available for consumption as soon as I finish the project, because I'm also going to drop a couple of bonus tracks on there, as well as the physical version is going to have skits in between the songs. So it's going to be way more more bang for the buck. So if you buy the physical copy, you're going to get a different project than just the digital copy. And so I'm still trying to work out the kinks on that, because I want to give you more for the money. If you're willing to buy a physical CD, then I'm going to give you way more than what you would get if you just downloaded or streamed it. You know what I mean?
I most definitely agree. I gotta say, man, I'm sorry to hear that your album had to be, like, re-released and whatnot, man. But I have to say, man, I'm looking forward to snagging myself a hard copy, man. So once they are available to the general public, let me know, man. I most definitely will hit up your PayPal and snag one of them hard copies.
Oh yeah, because we got merch, we got hoodies, we got hats, we got all of that. You know what I mean? So we definitely want to be able to, once the world open up again and we get to being able to do shows and things of that nature, you can come and have the whole experience and buy the CD with a hoodie or a hat or something like that. So yeah, like I say, it's definitely right there. I just got to finish the back art cover, and we can put that package together. And I definitely, as soon as I get one done, bro, you definitely got a copy, man. You know what I'm saying? With your name on it, I autograph you a copy.
Hey, man, most definitely. I appreciate you, man. I really do. But I have to ask you there, Dykkon, what is next for you, man? Is there anything I missed during this interview? Anything else you still want to talk about or promote while we still have you here live on the Canadian airwaves?
Thanks for asking that. That's a good question. First of all, everybody can go to www.payola, payola313.com. That's payola313.com. That's my merch site. And so I'm really pushing that right now. You know, like I say, I got the hoodies, the hats, and we got the trademark for payola. So I even got shoes, you know what I mean? So that's one of the things that I'm really pushing because in today's music industry, the recorded part is not as big as it used to be. Like record sales and things of that nature aren't the same as when I came in the game. So you got to diversify. So that's first of all. Second answer to that question is just content, man. Content is king. So we're producing more music. I just got on Swan's head about me and Swan got an EP that we've been working on forever. So we got 5 joints, maybe 5 to 7 joints that we need to drop this year within the next couple of months, realistically. And working with D-Boy, who, like I say, he's on Hellibus team. Working with some other local cats that, you know, haven't got their chance to shine yet. And just going back and releasing everything in the vault because, like I say, content is king. So we dropping, drip, baby.
Hey, man, it sounds like 2021 is most definitely the year for Dykkon-Isaran.
Oh yeah. Because we have to diversify as black entrepreneurs and hip hop entrepreneurs. Period. You know, it's the game changes every day, so you have to have content. Shout out to my director Boudang, who directed the Motor City Boys video. Shout out to Jigsaw and Dakota Films. Shout out to my cousin Al Nuke out there down in Atlanta doing this thing. You know what I mean? That's real DNA. I ain't just calling him cuz because he's cute. You understand me? Shout out to Exotic 313. Shout out to Joe the Boss making moves. You know what I'm talking about? Shout out to Sada Baby. You understand me? Because my family on this team, so that means that's family. You know what I mean? So we deep rooted in the game, baby. This is choke boy business. This is invite only. You understand me?
And also, man, I have to ask you, where can our listeners find you, man? That way they can stay updated on everything Dykkon-Isaran if they're not already doing so.
Well, definitely check me out on IG, Facebook, and Twitter at Dykkon-Isaran. That's Dykkon-Isaran. You can Google me, bitch, and that's going to show you everything. My Google card is going to pop up. It's official around in this bitch. You know what I'm talking about? And then, like I say, www.payola313.com. That's the official merch site. You know what I mean? And, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm in all the digital stores. We over there on mainland China. You know what I'm talking about? We over in Beijing. Shout out to Brazil, the dopest fans on the planet. I ain't knocking nobody else, but they go out there. They streaming every day. I'm getting at least 100 to 200 streams from Brazil a day. And shout out to TS Digital Media, you know what I'm saying, helping me market this project. And, you know, we just going to keep dropping because we was born to drop. We was born to drop the drip, the splish, the splash. You dig me?
And I gotta say, Dykkon, thank you so much again for taking the time out of your busy evening, man, and coming on 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM. It was an honor and most definitely a privilege, man. Anytime, you're always welcome back on my platform, man. So you just holler and we'll make it happen.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity, DJ Immortal, and I appreciate you supporting all the Detroit acts. I saw your K-Stone interview. I saw your Arthur Drake interview, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully you'll get some more Detroit cats on here. Hopefully you get Esham or somebody on here or Chance Town, you know, that got real roots and made hip-hop for real independent in the D. And, you know, we going to keep supporting y'all over there because y'all supporting us, you dig?
Hey, man, I appreciate that, man. I grew up on Detroit hip-hop, man. Every 90s kid, man, grew up on, like, Eminem, D12, and, you know, just yelling 313 no matter where you were in the world, man. So, after all, man, it's what I grew up with. You know, how can I not have love for Detroit even when I'm a grown man? So, you know what I mean?
Well, y'all right there, we neighbors, baby. We next door neighbors, so we gonna support. We'll continue to love on each other. Continue to drop this content, baby. Because content is king.
Hey, man, I most definitely agree, brother. Thank you so much again, Dykkon, man. And you most definitely stay safe out there in Motor City.
Oh, man, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, man. And y'all keep doing what y'all doing, supporting this hip-hop thing. It's a global phenomenon. Like I say, we was doing it when it wasn't cool to do it. And shout out 97.7 Outlaw Radio in Canada. And y'all keep supporting real hip-hop, man. And real hip-hop gonna keep supporting y'all. You dig?
Hey, man, most definitely, brother. You have yourself a wonderful night, Dykkon. Thank you so much again.
You too, man. Bless out.